I'm telling you, Android is definitely better than iOS. But the Trishant from the earlier video in which he said that iOS is better than Android, all the shit he said, all the crap he said, I hope you enjoy this one. Let's carry on. Hey guys, welcome back to Tech Trishant. If you are new here, thanks a lot for stopping by. My name is Trishant and I'm an amateur photographer who loves technology like smartphones, laptops, Android, iOS and all those things. On this channel, I review and compare those technologies and also give you tips and tricks videos. So if you would like to see more such videos from me in the future, then consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking the bell icon so that you never miss an update. Also tell me in the comment section, why do you prefer Android more, and roast those Apple fanboys. The first thing that Android does better than iOS is customizability, and if you're an Android person, you definitely know that in terms of customizability, iOS sucks. iOS doesn't offer any kind of customizability options. It doesn't even let you have a separate home screen and an app drawer as you have on Android, and you can customize that home screen and that app drawer as you want, arranging apps within the home screen also, in the app drawer also, and all of those things. A ton of customizability options. Launchers, within launchers, a ton of customizability options. You can personalize your phone as you want to use. iOS, sorry, but you don't have any customizability options and you don't give any of that to the user. People who like customizability, that's why they stick to Android. Now the second advantage of Android over iOS is affordability. Let me quote something. There is an Android for everyone. You can find an Android device within any budget, no matter if you have a 5,000 rupees budget, no matter if you have a 70,000 rupees budget. Within that, you can get a ton of Android devices responding to your budget, and that to your choice. Much better RAM, like 8 or 6 gigs, and much better battery, much better fast charging capabilities and all of those things. Take the OnePlus. I'm talking about the OnePlus because it's the phone which provides flagship hardware at a not so flagship price range. OnePlus is having a great time making phones in India, and that is a main reason that it is dominating the Indian market like anything. Everybody deserves to be connected to the internet and to have a smartphone in their hand in 2019, which they can use to help themselves in many situations. And even if those people have a low budget to spend, then no matter, Android is here to save you. Android can be found in almost any budget that you want. In terms of affordability, you don't have to pay a premium like you have to pay when you have purchasing an iPhone, and that is not the case for Android, and that is why Android is better than iOS. Everybody knows this. This is common sense. The third thing, or better yet, the third thing is the Google Assistant. Google Assistant is far more dominating and has been dominating Siri for many years now, and I think it would dominate Siri for the coming 2 to 3 years more. Although Siri is improved very much with iOS 12, with improved Siri shortcuts or whatever those Apple fanboys call it, but according to me, Google Assistant is still simple and easy to use, and it has far better accessibility and availability of information. Even the smallest questions like who is the captain of the Indian cricket team or something like that, tell me about this, tell me about that, Google has a lot of advantages. And now the Google Assistant also supports native language. That means you can talk to the Google Assistant in Hindi more naturally as compared to Siri, in which there is no native language support till now for India. Particularly I'm talking about India. That's also a good thing because not everyone has access to English. Hey Siri, talk to Google. Now the fourth thing is multitasking and always on display. Always on display is a small thing, so let's discuss that first. In 2019, almost every Android phone has it, and it's a really handy feature and it's a gimmick. But if you like that gimmick that iPhone doesn't provide, then you definitely would like to go with Android over iOS. Now let's come on to multitasking. iOS absolutely provides zero help in terms of iPhones, not in terms of iPads. Although I agree that RAM management is really good on iOS, but if you are using an iPhone or if you have switched from an iPhone to Android, you know how well Android is optimized for multitasking. Whenever you have to use those two apps at the same time, then you have to switch between the apps again and again. That kinds of become frustrating, and that takes time and energy also. On the other hand, in Android, you can just open the two apps in the multitasking and split screen mode, and it's pretty much handy as compared to iOS. Another small multitasking feature, which again Samsung introduced it, Pop View. What it does is that it opens the app in a small window, and you can open as many apps as you like. Of course, there should be a limit, but I don't know what that limit is. I would update you on Twitter. Open that app in a small window, interact with that app, and use the leftover screen state to do whatever you want. Now, the fifth thing is Android being open source. I know I said in my previous video as well, as an advantage of iOS, that iOS being closed source is an advantage and Android being open source is a disadvantage. Yes, Android being open source has a lot of disadvantages, but it also has a lot more of advantages. First of all is the freedom for the developers to add to the OS and tweak it as they want, because they have access to the source code and they can make it work as they want. This helps the brand, and that is the reason why Android is so fragmented, because many brands, they can use the Android as an operating system on their device. They can access the code, they can tweak it, they can change it, and they can make the device work as they want. They can make the UI look as they want, and they can also add support for a ton of better features on top of the stock Android that they have access to, so that they can make a new device and they can release that to the market. You may know that Samsung got a lot of features like multitasking using split screen, fast charging, fast wireless charging a lot earlier as compared to what stock Android had to offer, and that is an example of how Samsung used Android as a core operating system and added a ton of new features before even the official stock Android added it. That is why I like Android, because the brands have a lot of options on how to customize Android in many other ways, and it opens up a lot of creativity options and a lot of options for the people who like to prefer this UI or the other or something like that. That is a good thing, and if you like that kind of a thing, then definitely Android beats iOS out of the market. Now the sixth thing is routing support. If you are a tech person, if you have any technical background, if you are a developer, if you are a person who really have rooted their device, it just opens the device to a whole new world of possibilities. You can install custom ROM like Ubuntu, Linux or anything like that on your phone, and you can even play games not intended originally for that phone, but you can just root it, make it work as you want, install the custom ROM that support that game, and you can play that game on an Android device. And by saying custom ROMs, not only external operating systems like Ubuntu and Linux, you can also install newer versions of Android. If you do not want to wait for the over-the-air updates from the official company, you can just root the device, install that, and get advantage of the new features. Have you ever heard iOS do that? No, I don't think so. Let me just warn you that do those steps, whatever rooting steps you are taking, in a pretty sorted manner and by researching a lot, because if you do even one mistake here or there, you would tend to break your device. Let me tell you that whenever you get stuck, even if you're new to rooting, if you get stuck, the Android rooting community is a lot more active as compared to the iOS jailbreaking community, and that's why you would get a lot of support. Whenever you get stuck, just ask on those community and you would get almost all of your answers. So if you like that kind of a freedom of rooting and making the device work as you want and want to install custom ROMs on your device, then definitely Android is far better as compared to iOS, and definitely go for it. Now the seventh thing is better versatility. We all know Android is really more versatile as compared to iOS, and what I'm talking about, if you have no idea, let me explain that. iOS works as a phone. It is meant to be a phone, it works as a phone. But Android on the other hand has a lot more better features like multitasking, split screen, and it can come in handy in many situations, especially with the external device support, which I would talk about later in this video, in which iOS would struggle. For example, you can sideload things, like you can download external apps .apk files and you can install them on your phone. You can even download external music, images and all of those things on your Android device, but I really don't recommend downloading music externally, because an artist puts his heart and soul and a lot of hard work it takes to make a song, and you have to really reward them for it and you have to respect them for it. And that's why if you want to listen to songs, you can definitely stream music from that. Apps like Google Play Music, Ghana and Amazon Music and a lot of those things. Android is a whole computer device on its own, and it can really exist independently. Another thing where iOS is just boring as compared to Android, really it's boring switching or buying a new phone. Now let me explain what I'm talking about. If you are a person which gets bored of the old user interface and you want to try out something new, something different from that, then you have definitely a choice in Android. If you want an iPhone with a different experience, then you don't have that, because there are a lot of brands. If you don't like the Xiaomi, you can always switch to Samsung. If you don't like Samsung, you can do Huawei and many more. You can switch between them and try out a whole new experience. We're almost there. The eighth thing is external device support. iOS is really crap in front of them, because iOS first of all has still the lightning port. It should have been switched to USB-C a lot earlier, because USB-C is a lot more versatile and it has support for you to use external devices with your phone. You can use the external devices like pen drives, mouse, keyboard, almost anything with an Android device if you have the right ports, and it saves you a lot of time, especially if you are traveling and you keep all of your data on a pen drive and you do not like to fill up your phone storage. Then you definitely use your pen drive to connect to your phone, and you can definitely watch that movie, listen to those music and all of those things, and it saves you in a lot of situations also, especially in situations when you have a document stored on a pen drive and you need them urgent. You can just connect that pen drive to your Android device with an OTG connector. So that is a really big advantage of Android over iOS, because iOS doesn't have that kind of external device support as Android has, and that type of versatility that Android has. Now the ninth thing is lots of choices. Now I know I have talked a lot about choices in this video. It is a big advantage over iOS in terms of choices also. Different people have different choices. Some prefer looks more in a smartphone, some prefer to have a great display, while others look for a great camera, some look for a great battery life, some just want better performance, they are not bothered about the look. Some want phone with a notch, some don't want phone with a notch. For some, not having a headphone jack is a big deal and they can be the deal breaker between this device or the other. Many people with different choices choose different smartphones as they want, and there is almost any Android device available with the combination of features that I mentioned, and there are even more features which I did not even mention here. There are lots and lots of, the list goes on, right? So that is why you, the people, have the complete freedom to choose whatever Android device you want to choose, and you're better off purchasing a good device and a great device as per your needs, and I hope you find the best phone as per your needs. This video is not about iOS, so we are not going to talk about iOS. If you want to see the iOS video, I'll put a link up here, and if you're an Apple fanboy, then you won't like this video, so just click on that link and watch that video. And the 10th final thing that Android does better than iOS: battery hardware. Hands down, the battery technologies and the battery hardware that Android offers, technologies like fast charging, fast wireless charging, dash charge, quick charge, and all of those things, although they all do the same thing, charge the battery fast. That is also an advantage of Android being open source. Brands can add their own battery technologies. That's why it adapts to new technologies faster as compared to what iOS does. In terms of battery technologies and the huge capacities of batteries that you get on Android devices, 4000, 5000 mAh and all of those things, even on low budget devices, is really great to have. And if you like that kind of a thing, then definitely Android is for you as compared to iOS. So that were the main advantages that Android offers over iOS. If you have any more advantages, tell me in the comment section. I would be more than happy to know them. If you enjoyed this video, then give this video a big like and share this video with your friends and family. And for another video from my channel, either click here or here. Click the round circular icon here to subscribe to my channel. Till the next time, have fun, keep loving technology, keep coming back to Tech Trishant. This is Trishant signing off. Peace.